Have you ever felt like you were living in a life that wasn't yours? Have you experienced things that you've already seen before but you can't explain where you remember seeing it? Have you ever looked over and saw something, then you looked again and it wasn't there? Yes, everyone is unique, but have you felt like no one would understand you if you told them the whole truth? How everything is fine one day, then the next, you wake up in a wrecked crash, with people screaming and hearing sirens. Get ready to read a book that will leave you on the edge of your seat. Living Life After Death Part 2 is a supernatural tale of how losing a loved one can alter the mind. Get ready to read an amazing book. Get your copy today. You will be glad you did.
Hey y'all, hey! I am author Ejanae, and I would like to welcome everyone to our panel discussion tonight, Living Life After Death, the live panel. And I have an amazing panel that's here with me. Everybody has popped back up in here. I'm so excited. But I want everyone to take the time right now. If you know anyone that has lost a loved one, to tag them in this video right now, because this panel is about to unleash their heart, their broken hearts. It doesn't matter how long it has been since you lost your loved one. Your heart is still broken from that loss. And tonight we will be unleashing a lot of pain and hurt, and tears may even shed. But if anything resonates with you, I need you to tag someone that will need to hear this now and in the future about living life after the death of a loved one. Well, who am I? I'm glad you asked. All right, so I am best-selling, two-time best-selling author, four-time self-published author, Janae, and I wrote Living Life After Death Part 1 and 2 after the death of my 9-year-old niece. But also within this pain, I also lost a very dear friend of mine a year and 2 days later, Nikita, to it. Just a death, I mean, just out of nowhere. And I also have two family members here that will represent Mackenzie as well. My sister, her mother, and Nikita, her sister, my friend, Shantae. So we have a lot in common on this panel. I have a lot of love for every person on this panel. And tonight, we are going to help you walk through this grief process. I even have a certified therapist here. And I have to do that because I need some clinical things that has to come out so that we can know that it's okay to grieve and it is necessary to grieve. So tonight, I'm not going to keep talking because y'all know I can talk, okay? But I got a whole bunch of people that can talk along with me, and I need them to tell their story because I can't tell their story like they can, and they can't tell mine like I can. So that's why I'm a hush. We're going to take a break. When I come back, I'm going to have my beautiful panel. They're going to introduce themselves, and then we're going to get into these topics because we have 4 topics tonight that we're going to go over, and we will have, I see questions and comments already popping up everywhere, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So y'all keep giving those questions and we're going to give you an answer. You guys don't go anywhere, but while you wait with this commercial, go ahead and tag, like, and share this video because somebody needs to hear what the words coming out of my panel mouth. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere. Just, tag somebody. And we are back as promised. I have my panel with me. Hey, y'all. Hey. Take your phone off mute because they can't hear you.
Hello,
All right,
hello.
so we're going to start in our order. We have an order, y'all. We got an order. Y'all know what I'm saying? We got an order. All right, Sean, go ahead and introduce yourself. And because I see you out here working in these all-star Atlanta streets, but we ain't going to talk about that. Keep moving.
Yes, we are masked up. We are social distancing.
I ain't got to do that.
How's everybody? I go by the name of Sean. My stage name a lot of times is DJ Conan. I am a DJ by trade. I'm also a licensed massage therapist. Before I even get into it, hello everybody on the panel. I want to give it back to Janae. She's been amazing. Not only did she experience some of the things we all experience, first to make that very clear, none of us can escape death. I don't care how many super pills we take, we all it's inevitable. We all are going to experience it. So not only did she experience it, she also did something about it. So I want to give it back to her. She's awesome. If y'all haven't got your books already, I got mine on the party bus with me somewhere in here. So make sure y'all get your books from Janae. But yes, man, life after death is a real thing. I know there are ways that we should cope. There's ways that we could cope, but one of the ways that I go about doing so is really just trying to spread good energy. I try to be a beacon or a conduit for positive energy. I am an energy worker in general, and a lot of times that's what we go through when somebody dies, when we lose somebody extremely close to us. So I really just try to do my part to, I don't want to say take that negative energy from people, but when you die, I mean, I don't care how we put it, it's always a negative energy that we're left with because we missed our loved ones. So for me, I personally like to, as subtle as possible, sneak up in there and try to replace some of that negative energy with something positive. For me, that's how I deal with it on a regular basis. Everybody has their ways. Of course, I have what coping mechanisms and things like that. But on a daily basis, I find that's what really satisfies me, satisfies my soul, kind of mends my spirit, so to speak, is just to be able to be positive and provide that or share that with somebody else that may not be at that time. So that's it for me.
All right, DJ, you just did the whole wrong thing. But anywho, Jasmine, we just doing an introduction.
Oh, yeah. Hey, that's me. I introduced I told y'all
we appreciate you though, Sean. I know you working, so you just trying to get it in. I appreciate you. I applaud you and I thank you for that because he always keep his word. So, Jasmine, let's do our intro. Then we're gonna go back into our topic that Sean and hit it out for the people.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Jasmine Adams. I am the mother of Mackenzie Adams, which is my daughter, and she is the reason why we started the foundation, the Mackenzie Foundation. After her death, she committed suicide due to bullying.
All right, Bridget.
Hello, my name is Bridget Walton, mother of 4, manager of many things. And I'm here today. Lost my brother, my youngest brother, Brandon, about a year and a half ago.
Shantae.
Hello, my name is Shantae Tony. I am a teacher by trade and everything else. I am here representing my family. Lost my baby sister about a year ago. It was a complete shock. 1 minute we were sitting on the couch watching TV. The other minute I'm calling 911. And so I'm here to help us heal.
All right. Chantal.
My name is Chantal Living Chanette. I'm from Lake Charles, Louisiana, and I work in career services, assisting students with the ins and outs of employment for their chosen fields. I'm also a blogger, spoken word artist, and I'm grieving the loss of my husband who passed away a little bit over a year ago.
And Tara.
Hi, guys. I am Tara Lynn Towns. I'm a speaker, author, therapist, and inventor of an anti-bullying app. I work with families who have lost children between the ages of 7 and 15, children who have committed suicide due to being bullied. And I'm also here to share as just a person who lost my mom and a baby, still a baby. So looking forward to sharing.
All right, guys, when we come back, we're going to jump right into our first topic, and we'll tell you the topic when we come back. So while you wait, go ahead and like, share, and tag this because we are about to get into the meat and the heart of this, starting with topic number 1. What is your grieving process? We'll be right back. Hey, you guys, I am back, author Janae, and you are tuned into Living Life After Death, the live panel. And this comes from the title of my best-selling books, Living Life After Death Part 1 and 2. And we're going to get right into our first topic, which is, what is your grieving process? And I'm going to bring my panelists back on the screen, and we're going to get right into it, you guys. All right, Sean, you already gave us your grieving process. Chantal, we're going to start with you. Tell us your grieving process after the loss of your husband.
So the biggest thing that I did that really helped my grieving process and really, really allowed me a safe space to heal was I actually moved away. People will tell you never to make a permanent decision after losing a loved one. However, that's exactly what worked for me. And I'm really glad that I followed my heart and did what worked for me. I moved 4.5 hours away from my hometown. And I really attribute that to helping me heal. Everywhere that I would go, I would see people and they would ask questions or they would want to talk about my husband and the passing. And I felt like every time that would happen, I was re-traumatized because I had to relive the moment that I found my husband and all of the events that led to that. And I began to become very anxious when leaving home, if I had to go to the grocery store or even if I had to go into work. And so me making the decision to move away and to have my grieving process the way that I wanted and what worked for me is really what helped. I fell in love with nature all over again. I started hiking, biking, journaling, music. Those were the things that really gave me peace and really gave me an opportunity to heal and the way that I needed to do that.
Sorry. Bridget, thank you, Chantal. That was amazing. Bridget, we're going to go to you. What was your healing process?
Well, I think a lot of mine was like Chantal's. I live about 3.5 hours away from our hometown, and I didn't have to relive it as much. People would send me messages and everything, but I could answer in my own time. Prayer and meditation, y'all. I had to learn how to completely block everything. Like I had to learn how to power my self-being to where I can just turn it all off, get out there in nature, just listen. And sometimes in that listening, in that just the purity of that time, it's almost like I could feel him, and that helped. It was like sometimes I could smell him, and that would help too. But the prayer, the meditation, and the therapy, I did. I reached out before anybody could say maybe you need therapy, because a lot of people were like, "Are you okay? Have you grieved yet?" And I did. I was grieving, but at the same time, I had parents, older parents that I had to take care of, my girls that I had to take care of. And I knew having all of those hats, I needed to take care of myself. So I didn't even hesitate. I went ahead and I got in touch with my therapist as soon as I came back home. And I've been under her since then.
Awesome. I hear a lot of therapy and outdoor things happen. If you can resonate with what you've heard so far, go ahead and put me, like, share, and tag this. And we're going to keep moving to Shantae. Let's go to your story.
All right. So, like many others, I haven't done therapy. It's not something I'm not against or may decide to do, but definitely prayer. Just always asking the Father to keep me going. When I needed to grieve, I allowed that a space. It was not easy for me because I kind of compartmentalize. I can't say that word. I kind of like put everything in a space. Like I can't do it right now. I'll go back to it, but it came from everywhere. So I had to learn to deal with it. I also spoke to friends, whether it be my friends were texting me or I have to put out there, it's not a good day. Just, keep me in prayer and keep it moving. I had to take a break from social media. Facebook has the memories, and they were starting to pop up. And sometimes I'll smile. Other days it'll make me angry. Other days it'll just make me cry. So I took a break about probably like a month of social media, just to get my head around. And thankfully for me, the pandemic happened, because I had to go right back to work, and I wasn't there. And so when the pandemic happened, that really gave me the space to cry in the shower, to cry in my room, whatever I needed to do in order to um, really start healing. And so I definitely say to those that are looking on, don't rush the grieving process like I tried to do. I feel like, okay, we put her in the ground and I should be done, and it wasn't. It wasn't the case. So every now so when it comes, just let it happen. It's okay to feel those different stages of grief. They're not gonna come in order, and sometimes you're gonna stay on one for a long time. When you start feeling yourself act out of who you are for long periods of time, it's then time for you to call on some help.
That is all true. Absolutely. Jasmine, your turn.
I'm sorry, I had to turn my mic on.
Yeah, don't do what I did.
But yeah, the way that I, worked through my grieving process was basically my first thing was change of scenery. I have been teaching Head Start for 5 years. I love children. So, with losing her, I had to, step away from it because I knew that I wouldn't be able to give myself entirely to them the way that I had been given for, the 5 years I'd been teaching. And, it was kind of hard doing that, but at the same time, I knew that it was what was best for me, because I was at a stage where just looking at a child would make me cry. Cause I don't want to cry, y'all.
It's okay.
It's a hurtful situation.
Absolutely.
Like to this day, I don't want to say, I'm gonna say it. As a mother losing a child that young, my grieving, days will never be over. It was a tough situation. So yeah, I went through a stage where I wanted to take my life. My family didn't know it. I held it back from them, but there were times when I just felt like I couldn't be here no more, because she was my reason for being here. And without her being here, I felt that there was no need for me to be here. But like Shantae said, hey, I had to pray. And when I say I had to pray more than I'd ever prayed in my life, I had to ask God for strength and, touch my mind, fix it, change whatever needs to be changed. Because at the end of the day, I still have a son that I have to take care of. And it wouldn't be fair to him, for me to take myself away from him. So my grieving process is still going. It's going to continue to go. Absolutely. Because he talks to her. He talks to her on a daily. She rides in the car with us. So I know that she's here around us. I know she's protecting her brother. So that helps a little with me, but it's the physical element of it that just throws me all off.
Absolutely. You did good, baby sister. You did good. Now put it on mute so you can cry, okay? I love you. Tara, it's your turn.
Jasmine, I just want to say I commend you. I mean, everyone for sharing, because it's not easy to share. It is the best therapy, believe it or not, is to get it out, because when we internalize, that's when it musters and it sits and it comes out in so many different other ways, you know, clinically, and anxiety and depression and different things like that. Now, I'm speaking about situations. My mom, I was 25, and I'm going to tell everyone sitting on a panel that has new losses, I'm not going to lie. I want to be real. It still feels like I got the call to get out the shower and come over and say my goodbyes to my mom. The feeling never leaves you, but you just learn how to handle it better as time goes on, because time is a heal. It really is. That newness, it does diminish, but it still takes you back. As soon as you look at a picture, I can just say, oh, I'm right back in that moment again. I thought I was over this. But you never. And I may even have, you know, other therapists say, don't say something like that. I'm going to say that I'm not over her, but I'm through, you know, the heavy waters that it began with in the beginning. I will say that. And for my baby, he was a stillborn, and that's 10 years ago. And once again, every time I look at a baby or I look at someone pregnant, of course I celebrate it, because I want to get into that later. But I definitely, it makes me think about it again and him again, and I revisit that. So I just want to say that, to be honest with you, the grief process is the lifelong process that you trust. And that's what I've learned to do. I don't get stuck in, okay, I'm in 3, I'm in 4, I'm in, you know, anger. We're going to be all over the place with those stages. And I just trust it. I trust that when I'm in that anger, it'll pass in a few, you know, days, hours, what have you. And then I go into, oh, I can laugh about her. I can remember a good time. So I just want to tell people out there, please trust the process. And Lord knows it is one. And going to God, we're all believers here. And, you know, I can say my sister and I were just talking about this, because she heard the other one that we had the other night. And we do have to go to the Lord. And I mean, like, go to God. Like you never went before, that you never even knew you had that deep connection with him, because there are times where you're in that pit and you just like no one or no thing can pull you out of it. So the things that I've done though to overcome those feelings is to just not sit in there for too long. And once again, I'll get into that when we give tips, or so to speak. I just try not to sit into any emotion too long with it, because the longer you sit, the more empty you feel sometimes. And positive, you know, times that you believe, it's really great, because it does make you can smile and say, I do remember this fun time that I had out right now. So what I did was like everyone else, just totally nature, meditation, you know, relaxation, music, deep breathing. I even changed my diet. I became a pescatarian, because a lot of sugars, processed foods have us anxiety and have our, you know, hormones going like crazy as well. And so it helped a lot to take a lot of different things out. But that's what I did too. But it is a process, guys. And I just want to say, trust it and trust yourself that you can grow through these steps in the process.
Absolutely. That's why I have the therapist with us, to give us that information we need to know that, one, she confirmed what we all have said, that we're doing the right things, and to just give that energy to keep moving. So I'm going to give you guys my grieving process, because I'm grieving twice, and Jasmine is, and Shantae is, Tara is as well. Chantal, I think all of us are grieving twice. But what my point is that when Mackenzie passed in 2018, it was December the 3rd to be exact. That's my sister on the panel, Jasmine, her oldest child, my first niece. Devastated us. Devastated us to the umpteenth edges of the earth. Never in a billion years, forget a million, a billion years, would we have ever thought this would have happened to us, but it did. When it did, I didn't stop. I was like, nobody else is going to feel this. Nobody else is going to go through this if that's the last breath in my body. Nobody else, not another soul in my mind. You know, it doesn't always happen like that. There have been losses, but as many people that I could reach, God knows I have reached them. As many people as Mackenzie's story can tell, God knows I have told it. I'm wearing her button right now. I try not to go anywhere without her. And everybody that I tell her story, they then vow not to go anywhere without her. She's in so many homes that you wouldn't even imagine how many homes she sits in and how many hearts her story, her life lives in right now. So I had to understand that I had to continue to live, and I had to live my life in order that her story can continue to live. And in order for me to do that, I couldn't be depressed. I couldn't cry all day. I did a few days, some days, but I couldn't stay there. I had to get up. I had to choose to get up. And that's what I want everyone that's on this panel that's watching. You have to choose to get up. You have to be willing to get up. You cannot allow yourself to stay down. If you don't have to do what I'm doing and do this panel and this and that and the third, you can just take a little $20, $10, $5 and give it to somebody that's in need on behalf of your loved one. Saying their name will help you heal, because I can say the McKenzie Foundation without just about breaking down. I can talk about McKenzie in a presentation without having to turn my back because I'm shedding tears. Not that I'm over her. It's just that her story and the power from saying it is allowing me to be free, that I can live because she still lives within me. And the last thing I want to talk about before we go to a break and come back with topic number 2 is that suicide. I, on a regular basis, especially since the pandemic, go to a lot of places that call on me to talk to families whose child tried to commit suicide. And what I want to let you all know, if you are watching, and I know someone is watching, you have to speak out if you tried to commit suicide. My sister just did it live for millions to hear and see, that she tried to commit suicide. You have to admit that. Hiding that will not help you heal. You will go back into that depressed state, and at that moment, your mind is for you to end it all. And it's just that moment, that one moment. Once you get over that moment, that's when you can live again. You have a second chance. Let's take it, you guys. I hope what we're saying tonight is helping someone. We have more to share. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back, because we have another topic that you would definitely heal from. I promise you will. We'll be back. This is Living Life After Death, the panel live discussion. Hey y'all, hey, we are back. I am author Janae. I see some comments over there. I need to see more. You all got some questions. Y'all go ahead and answer now. So we're going to get into our second question, and I'm going to bring my panel back. One of my panelists got 2 phones, golly. He 2-chain around here. What's going on, son? Anyway, so you guys, we're going to get into our second question. The second question is how are you healing? And what are you doing to help you heal? And I know this kind of redundant from what we said last time, but we have more to talk about. So I know y'all ready. I know you're ready. Sean, it's on you this time.
How are we healing? Is that the question?
Yes.
Man. It's a daily thing. I don't know if there's a set way for me to tell you how to heal. For me, really just trying to find reasons to smile. I've dealt with depression. I've dealt with PTSD. I was a fireman or a medic, so I've seen enough death and enough tragedy to kind of, set in and go through those same stages you've already discussed. So for me, kind of like the first thing I mentioned before, I try to be a friend for good reason. I definitely deal with those dark places. I definitely deal with trauma of seeing those old faces from that, perished in my own, both in the line of duty and off. So for me, it's really just trying to find my true happiness. A lot of what I do, people don't know me, but I do a lot of different stuff from DJ, party, but besides there, those are my therapies. It's not working. So even though I'm going all the time doing it, those are things that make me happy. And that's kind of what I've delved into. After dealing with a lot of stuff.
Absolutely.
This is my thing.
Thank you, Sean.
And I found my books.
Hey, it's greasy, Sean. No, I'm just playing. Okay.
It's a little greasy. I got the
Now he got some massage oil on his hand. I ain't messing with you. Chantal, come on, go ahead next. Because Sean, this is supposed to be serious.
So first things first, I have an incredible support system. My family, I have a huge family. My parents, 5 brothers and a sister. And then I have some really good close best friends too. And they have been huge in my day-to-day healing process. Just a lot of times when we go through grief, people want to tell you how to heal and what you need to do and how you should do it. And a lot of times it's more about them than it's about you. And I'm so thankful that my family, although they didn't necessarily understand the reasons why I did certain things, they respected my process and allowed me to grieve the way that I felt that I needed to grieve. And in so many words, that empowered me to really, really get serious about my healing and to seek the help that I needed. And so I see a therapist. I have bi-weekly check-ins with my therapist. Therapy has been incredible. It's given me a safe space to say the things that we want to say, those anger moments that we want to lash out and say those things, and just to have that safe space to be able to do that and to be told that it's okay for you to feel that. It's okay to say that. That makes a huge difference in being able to heal and really being able to get all of those feelings out. The other thing is I'm a logical thinker, and grief is not logical at all. It does not make any sense. It's been a year and some days, and I still have days where I'm like, I cannot believe my husband is gone. Like, this makes no sense to me. And so giving myself grace, allowing myself to feel how I feel, allowing myself, if I'm having a rough day, taking that time out and praying or reading my affirmations or whatever it is that I need to do to allow myself to keep going, being patient with myself, being vulnerable when I do those friends that I do trust and am able to talk about, to really be honest with how I'm feeling when I'm asked the question, well, how are you doing? So many times we want to say, girl, I'm okay. But being honest to say, you know what? I am not okay today. Today was not a good day. I am struggling today, but I'm going to keep going and I'm going to keep moving, but being honest with myself. And then as I mentioned before, the journaling, the hiking and the biking, nature has been so therapeutic. It's been a form of therapy that I had no idea that I needed. And it's been incredible. And so I would just say to those of you that are struggling and are having those moments, do what feels right for you, not for anybody else.
Super awesome. Super awesome. Bridget, your turn.
So I definitely had to learn that it was okay. It's okay to feel. It's okay to tell people, no, today's it's a rough one. But when my brother passed, there were so many people that we knew who he was to us, but to know who he had been to everybody else, we picked up the torch. I picked up the torch, and his friends have become my friends. The people that loved him most have become some of the people that I have learned to love the most. His charity. And when we say charity, it's not necessarily financial. He's always been an ear. And a lot of times that's what people need, is just an ear. And they're grieving him just like I am. And it's good to hear those stories of the good stuff, that meat that made him the man that he is, even though he's sleeping. To me, he's just sleeping. And while he's asleep, it's so good to hear, or every now and then I'll get a picture or a video that one of his friends has of him. And at first, I used to couldn't. I just like, can't do it. And I'll send him a message, thank you. It's so sweet. But now I can go back. I can see my brother doing karaoke in his truck and just laugh with him and everything else. And now when they say, hey, can I send you a picture? Please, or you better. And even though it may be a bad day, those conversations, those situations, they turn it. They turn it for me. And it's a choice. I have chose to take it as half full instead of half empty. If I did it as half empty, I have no clue where I would be mentally. So I'm just taking it with everything else because, life in itself is not always fair. We do not always get what we want. And of course, I would love to have that boy here with me, but it's not my choice. But my choice is how I deal with it. And to honor him, the man that he was, the man that everybody loved, and even a year and a half later, everybody talk about like he's still here because he is. That's just the kind of imprint he had put. It would be less of me to just sit and sulk instead of choosing to live in the same manner he did. Because that's what we were taught. We were taught to be that half full for anybody and everybody. So I'm just gonna carry it on.
That's right, Bridget. Carry it on. And that's so beautiful too. That's what I was talking about, that memory of him. Enjoy that memory of him. That makes us smile. All right, Shantae, it's on you, girl. And that's me sending y'all a message.
Definitely like Bridget did. Excuse me.
It's okay, baby girl. I know. This is why we're here. We gotta talk it out. We gotta talk it out.
Kita's friends will send me stuff, and to know that she was the same with everybody. If Kita was your friend, trust you found a friend.
Indeed.
And so, all of us uniting together would help so much.
Mm-hmm.
Also doing that, our favorite activities as well. Whether it be our favorite movies, like I hate I almost can't stand the Temptations movie, but I find myself watching it now. Our favorite dances, all that goofy stuff, I find myself doing. I did something she always did to me, and that is I raided her wardrobe because if she was with y'all, she probably had something of mine on. All the time. I would come home from work. I'm like, what are you doing with my shirt on? And she was like, what? So wearing her stuff sometimes is actually therapeutic. Thankfully, we're kind of blessed we're being the same size. What I made for in height. If you don't know my sister had that fine shape. Big butt and big hips. So so I ain't get that. God gave me height. But so I've been definitely been able to do that. So and just like they say, it's always a healing process. Get people with you that you know that you can trust, and going and walking it with you. Those are definitely the best people. And I cry. I don't cry as much as I used to. I didn't think that physical hurt would ever go away. There is literally a physical feeling of your heart breaking. And I felt like
this is not healthy, God. I'm like, I used to just pray, God, just please carry me through this. I know this not healthy, the stress I'm putting on myself, but I couldn't help it. And so it goes away. And to let y'all know, even the times when the grief hits you, it goes away. It actually starts to heal. And even if you're crying, it's not me, my heart breaking over again. It's just sometimes a memory just kind of snaps for you. So I had wrote down the little slide. We used to do that all the time, and that's kind of what just triggered me. So yes, she taught me how to do the little slide. So just focusing on those sweet, sweet memories.
Yes.
Can ever help you get you through those days, definitely.
We doing the slide and key the name at your wedding. Understand? Oh, and be married what in June?
July.
In July of this year.
Yes.
So she think I'm playing. It's going down.
Oh gosh.
And Jasmine gonna start it out, and it's your turn too. You on mute though.
Just as long as she know, because I'm gonna cut up like Keita did. Me and Keita got together. It was you never knew what was gonna happen. But my day-to-day way of healing, trust me when I say it has gotten a whole lot better than it was. I still get emotional. I still, cry from time to time. But I think that with me changing my profession to dealing with healthcare, so that way I'm able to help others. It's actually helped a lot because I've gained a real good friend from that job, and she recently lost both of her parents within a matter of 2 weeks apart. And first person she called was little old me. And when I answered the phone, she was just hollering and screaming. I was like, Lord Jesus, let me be strong right now, Lord. And I talked to her. My thing is, like I told her, I know the hurt you're feeling, but I know it from a mother standpoint. So I know losing a parent, let alone two of them, I know that's the worst hurt that you could ever fathom. So I knew the hurt and the pain that she was feeling. And she was just telling me, I'm lost. I know. I know how you feel. But my thing is, like Shantae used to tell me all the time, whatever you got to do it. Scream, cry, whatever it takes to release some of that hurt, because Lord knows it ain't all going to go away. And just to release some of it, just to get a little bit of it off of you, relieves that type of pressure on you. Because it's been 2 years, going on 3 years. It'll be 3 years, December 3rd this year. When I tell y'all, I had a weight on my chest so heavy. I didn't know if I could come out of it. But I'm just going to say, on a day-to-day basis, the way that I'm healing, I'm not completely healed, never will be. But I've gotten to a point where I can talk about it now. Yes. Because Edwina's done plenty of these lives, and all of this. Come on, Jazz, you can do it. I'm not ready. I had to be mentally ready, because just like you saw just then, I went to crying. But it was tears of joy, because I know she's still here with me. In the physical realm, she's not. And that's the part that hurts the worst. But knowing that her brother knows who she is, and knowing that she's with him, I got both of my babies. And that's just, my healing process. Now, my way that I heal day to day is basically helping others to move through the stages that I've already gone through.
Absolutely. Good job, baby sister. I'm so proud of her. She is right. I've been asking her for months, okay, a couple of years, but when she's in her time, and Tara always tell me that in her time she will come, and she's here, and I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of you, Bridget. So proud of you, Shantae. So proud of you, Sean. So proud of you, Chantal. I'm so proud of you, Jasmine, and of course my Tara, because this is not easy. People are watching. We have a question. I'm gonna let Tara go. She went away. And there is a question. So I'll go ahead and put the question up since we have a little time. So the question is I have a question for all you guys. I probably shouldn't have read that part. But anyway, he said, do you need the same motivation every day to wake up and go about your day as you did when y'all loved one passed?
For me, it's different, to be honest with you. Every day that motivation is different. And especially the way that I found my husband, I thought he was asleep, but he actually was not asleep. He was deceased. And so I always have trouble either sleeping, or I have that thought right before I go to sleep. Am I going to get up in the morning? Am I going to wake up in the morning? Because that's kind of what I dealt with my husband. So my motivation, honestly, is different every day because the pain that I feel sometimes is different. So depending on what that pain is, that determines what that motivation is for me to get up and go about my way.
Absolutely. Anybody else want to answer this?
I'm piggyback on what
I'm gonna piggyback off of Chantel with that one.
Oh,
my motivation
back in the day. Okay.
Yeah, I'm with her. My motivation is different every day. Like, of course, every single day, my motivation is gonna be my son. Like, since that happened, y'all, I sleep, but I don't sleep. I get up every hour on the hour, checking him. I'll put my hand under. You know how you did when you first time parents. You wait to see if your chest moving up and down, or touch him a little bit so he'll move or something like that. So my motivation is the same every day when it comes to him. But as far as just getting out into the world and doing my daily things, it's very different every day. Every day.
All right, Bridget, your turn.
So I'm gonna tell y'all, Sundays are very, very hard for me. Sundays are very hard. It's like my Sundays have to be full. If I'm not working, I find something to do to keep me going. I don't know if it's so much healthy, but on Sundays, I have to go. And a lot of people are like, why are you working on Sundays? But I have to, because if I'm sitting and I look up and 5:07 hits that clock, I lose it. And all I can hear is that Sunday evening, I was headed to work, 5:07 on the dot. The policeman was at the house with my mom, and all I can hear is her screaming. So on Sundays, it is a struggle. It is a struggle. I don't want to sleep in. I don't want to not do anything. I don't want to take a rest day. I'll take a rest day on a Monday or any other day. But on a Sunday, I have to keep busy, because if I don't, it hurts so bad.
Yeah.
If I happen to catch it and see it, it messes me up the whole rest of the day.
Wow. We're going to let Tara answer the first question, and then Mr. Chris, I think that's Chantal's brother, he had a question. So if you could answer topic 2 and then answer his question, then I'll close us out and we'll move on to a little more upbeat.
Well, I'm sorry, guys. I had a little technical difficulty, but the day-to-day for me is to serve. Like Jasmine was saying, she changed her profession. She met friends, and she found that God had a purpose to even heal other people through her healing, her own healing. And I want to say that that's why I love serving so much, because service is love, and love definitely releases happy hormones in our body. We have to keep our hormones happy through this process, because depression will invoke the negative hormones in our body, and the happy things that we do, you know, inspire happy hormones to come out a little bit more. But another thing that I do is just focus on what I actually had with my mom. I didn't get much time with my baby. I got to carry him, but I didn't get much time with him. But what I had with her versus what I don't have with her because she's not here. And that helps me a lot. I mean, there are times where I just call her like mom, or I wish I can just pick up the phone. I used to dial old phone number, 20 years, you know, old, and still dial the old phone number because I just want to hear her say hello to me. But just redirecting, that's a big word. You know, if I can say any word today, is going to be redirecting those feelings and replacing them. I'm not saying not feeling them. That's a realm of denial, and that will only make the feelings suppress and then, you know, burst out one day into other ways. But to definitely redirect, allow yourself to feel like, okay, I'm crying right now, but then I'll get to that later, where I just time the tears as all it. And it's not allowing yourself to feel it. It's just like, okay, I did that, and now I'm going to do this. And then this will help me, you know, move on. And then with my baby, what I did do, I mean, my whole thing is children anyway, my profession is children, but I just focus on, and I celebrate new babies coming in and people being pregnant. A lot of people go through anger, and it turns into a resentment towards people who are pregnant and have, it's the truth, being real here today. And they don't even want to be, oh, my cousin's pregnant, I don't even want to go to her baby shower. The real people, real stories. And what I do is celebrate it. When I see a pregnant woman, oh, she's so beautiful. Oh, you do. And it just helps me relate to myself and check in with myself and know that I can still be happy for someone that has a baby, even though my baby is not here with me. And then lastly, I just focus on all of the positive things that I have in life. Right after losing my baby, I got pregnant again, and I got Corey. So I'm like, thank you, Lord. You gave me something even more and grand, you know, than the baby that I lost. So you know what? He always knows what to do and what to give us to get us through. But just try to focus as much as you can on the things that you have present and not the things that you don't have. And still remember the people that you lost, obviously.
Absolutely. Sean and Shantae, did either one of you guys want to talk to Chris with a question that about the motivation day to day?
I'll go.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so the motivation is different every day, but I think it hits a certain kind of way every day.
Right.
And that's what kind of gets me moving. I recently lost a good friend of mine who was a motivation speaker. And that was kind of who used to speak life. I was actually training under him. So I hear him a lot of times in the morning just because that was part of what we practice with. And I'm trying to groom me into becoming a better speaker. So while the motivation is different, I'm in a different place every day, or every morning, or whatever. Some days dark space, some days not. I still kind of hear my brother like, hey man, we got something to do. So I think the motivation gets the same. It's just not the exact same for me.
Right. Gotcha. Shantae?
I'm good.
Okay.
They gave everything.
All right. Well, I will with the motivation every day to wake up, it for each person is gonna vary. Because if you're talking about a loved one, as far as like a spouse, sometimes that may be hard, especially if you've lived with that person, you know, for many years. That motivation will be different because you're like, I don't want to go on without them. And that's the purpose of the living life after death. That's the purpose of the book. A lot of people thought that I wrote my book about dead people because I talked about supernatural, but you got to read the book to understand, right? Right. However, it's about us as living life after death is for the living, because it is to tell us we have to continue living life. So motivation every day is going to be different for whatever your situation is because of the relationship that you may have had with that individual. Let's take my niece, for instance. I call her my boot girl. Every time I see she shiny boots, I almost break down because it took me, and contrary to what y'all may believe, because y'all know I like to shop, but whatever. It took me a while, at least 3 to 4 months to go into a store because Jasmine know I'm always buying her something that y'all say she don't need. However, I still bought it because that was my baby and she loves sparkly stuff and so do I. So she always got all kinds of boots, every color, every sparkle, she got it. If it was a bling with some white, me and her had our boots because that was my boot girl. When it comes to Nikita, me and Keita cut up. Met Keita in my college days, her and Shantae, and they used to take care of my daughter for me when I went to school. So these are people that have, helped shape and mold and been there in my worst time, and they loved me like a sister. And to lose her and we had just talked like a day ago, like it is in every, shocking. It was the shock and the trauma for both. And I was just like, I went harder. I didn't depress. I went harder in everything I did, from the McKinsey Foundation to motivational speaking. So when we all sit on this panel right now, I went harder. I wrote 4 books in 1 year. It wasn't because of the pandemic. It was because I needed to heal. I needed to get this out, and writing it on paper and putting it in a book form is what helped heal me. And so day to day is different. Some days you're going to be high. Some days you're going to be low. But however, don't stay in that low state. Always have a made up mind, and everything that you do is a choice. I know we lost people. Everybody on this panel has lost people. A person that meant the world to them, that still means the world to them. However, you have to choose to get up. You have to choose to keep moving. You have to choose to not let that hurt kill you. You can't die in your depressed state. You have to get up. If for anybody else, if it's not even for yourself, do it for that person. You guys, we're gonna come back because it's about time to release that oxygen of smiling, and we're gonna talk about y'all in a minute. Okay, all right. But I want to thank you guys again for being on this panel. You guys have been amazing. The questions and comments are coming in. They're loving you guys. You are helping people out here for now and in the future. And I thank you. I thank each and every one of you. You guys keep the comments coming while we take this small break. And we come back to our third question. It's a little more upbeat. We're just going to talk about y'all real quick. That's all. No, we want to talk to you in your face. Okay. I am author Ejanae. You guys have been tuned into Living Life After Death, the live discussion panel. I hope you guys are loving it. Tag somebody that needs this. We'll be back. Ejanae, guys, we are back. I hope we have helped heal your heart, helping your grieving process, because grieving is just that. It's a process. It won't end, but we need you to understand you can't end in order to keep moving. You have to keep living. You have to. I'm going to bring my panel back, you guys, and we are going to go into our talk about topic number 3. Topic number 3 is what not to say. See, now, this is what I talk about in my books. I think it's book number 1. When I go ahead and I talk about a lot of people that did fish fries in the name of McKinsey, we ain't seen no money. For the people that did people hair in the name of McKinsey, we ain't seen no money. For the people that sold whatever it was you sold, all them plates and chickens and crawfish and catfish and stuff that y'all make. We see, and I talk about y'all in my book. Okay, you have to pay $14.99 to go read it. All right. Anywho, so what we're gonna tell you right now is what not to say to us when we're sitting looking at our deceased loved one in a casket. Okay, we're gonna start with Sean. Give it to us, bud. Don't be laughing at me. Come off of mute. He's still laughing. Sean, it's your turn. Sean? No? He ain't laughing at me? All right, Chantal. Oh, no, we couldn't hear you.
I thought I had unmuted. I'm sorry.
No, I saw you laughing at me, though. I saw that.
Yeah, I was like, she said she has like $14.99
$14.99, my dear boys.
Now, some things not to say. Honestly, man, if you don't know what to say, in my opinion, just be there. That's some of the best things that you can do is just to be there for somebody. They're not going to remember half of what you got to say anyway because their mind is not really registering and processing all that you just got to say. So sometimes it's just good to just be there because they do see you. Even though we may not be like talking, even though you may be going through it, you know, it's reassuring. I mean, I can't say it's the best comfort. Sometimes you don't want nobody there. At times when you just get like that. But if you don't know what to say, definitely don't say I know what you're going through. You don't. And you could possibly, even though you may have experienced that on your own, it affects everybody different. So that's really not an appropriate thing to say. But just being there for me. Just being
awesome. Chantal?
So for me, the two things that I got the most, my husband and I did not have any children, and I had somebody come up to me and say, well, it's a good thing that you guys didn't have any children. And it was so upsetting because at the end of the day, you don't know what that was like for my husband and I. You have no clue what that was. And again, I use the word re-traumatize all over again. So now I'm grieving all over again because of something you said. And then the second thing that I got, and I think this resonates with everybody, is, oh, what happened? It's irrelevant what happened. It doesn't matter what happened. It doesn't matter how they passed. What matters is we are trying to live life after death. You telling us those things make it worse. You send us back to that moment when we found out about our loved ones. So I agree with Sean. If you don't know what to say, saying I know what you're going through is not it, because at the end of the day, we all grieve differently. And even though I can meet somebody who has also lost a husband, that process is still different because we're two different people. Our relationships were different. Yeah. So again, like Sean said, if you don't know what to say, just be there, send your prayers, send your condolences, and keep it moving.
Yes, keep it moving. Who next? Shantae, you next.
Definitely, like Chantel said, please do not ask about how the deceased came to be. It's just inappropriate unless you've been privy to the information. Just don't share it. Another thing, this is probably on behalf of my friend. She lost her brother the same time that you all lost Mackenzie, the same day in the same year.
Yes,
and one of the things that I know she went through was she went through a plethora of people that thought they were his one. So I say to you, if you are not betrothed to that person and you don't know for sure to bring down drama, please do not parade yourself around the family as you that significant other. You're gonna be embarrassed. They can tell you that you will be embarrassed. And it's not something that the family needs to have to deal with.
Right.
So it's not the first time I've ever viewed that. It's just unless you know that you know and everybody else know, save yourself the embarrassment and the family some peace. Don't come in there parading you like you a significant other.
All of us are Christian, and I know sometimes the way we process things, I can handle, when people come into me with the scriptures and things like that. But I can tell when it's not real.
Right.
People gonna tell when you being fake. So if you, like they said, if you don't honestly have nothing to say, if only thing you're doing is just regurgitating something you just found out, just be quiet, just hush. All right, it'll be a blessing for all of us involved.
Jasmine.
Let me go ahead and get rid of this paper real quick that I wrote down.
No, you got one.
Okay. I'm gonna just give y'all 2, maybe 3 out of some of the. I'm gonna call it stupid because it was stupid to me for coming to me saying what you said to me. First one. Oh, I can't even imagine. Ma'am, sir, don't do that. Because why would you want to even attempt to try to imagine losing a child, even losing anybody? Then comes the question, well, who found her?
Ooh.
Are you sick? Y'all know I'm from the country. I would throw these hands. Like, why does it matter? Just offer your condolences. You know I'm a cop, but just offer your condolences. Say you're sorry that it happened and keep it moving. And then the other is, well, how did she do it? You can't be serious right now. Like, you want me to relive all of that right now? Because if I was to relive it and to tell the story of how it happened, I could possibly blink out. No one knows what's going to happen after that. So like, if you just say you're sorry. I'm sorry it happened. I'm sorry you're going through that. Say something like that. But questions like that, don't say that to anybody that's grieving the loss of somebody. How they died doesn't matter. They're not here anymore. Just console the individual who's lost a family member and keep it trucking. Because a lot of times some people just come, just get a little info so they can run back and try to tell this, that, and the other, switch their story up by 2, 3 times, and we got a whole different story going on here. So yeah, just say you're sorry and keep moving. Yes. That's about all you can do.
Yes, indeed. She said it. I don't have to re-say what she said. Tara, it's your turn.
The famous one is They're in a Better Place. And I want to talk about this one because to us in the moment, they're not in a better place.
Right.
We're believers. We love God. But in that moment, God even knows and gives us grace on where we are at in that process of grieving. So to say they're in a better place and, oh, they don't have to worry about what you have to worry about anymore. And none of that matters, because the place that we want them, even to this day right now, is right next to us. No matter, they are in heaven and we love God. That has nothing to do with God, because we can get angry and yell and say things to God and he still loves us the next minute, in the moment, and after the minute. But to say that to someone when you're sitting down, like they have, my sister and I discussed this too, you're sitting there and you're looking at a casket, you don't want someone to say they are in a better place. No, they're not.
Nope.
So I just want to say to people, if you don't know what to say, like everyone said, don't say anything, but just use human touch instead of your lips, because it's foolish. It's foolish, some of these things that are said, and they're inconsiderate. And you get to walk home with the person next to you, your husband, your child, your mother, your father, your baby, while you're at the repast, you're with your family laughing and eating. It does not feel good. So I pray that people are watching that. Please don't say things like that. Or, they're an angel. Yes, they are an angel. God took his angel. God was jealous. He wanted his none of that stuff feels great. And it doesn't even sound great when you're listening to it. And it doesn't even matter right now. Because in that moment, You're not even at a place seriously where you can settle and say, Lord, help me with this. You're still in denial and shock. And so you're not even honestly reaching out to God just yet. And he brings you there because he's with you through the whole thing. But in that moment, those things are just out of pocket. So hug someone, kiss someone on the head, reach in, lean in, do that. My condolences. But all of that other stuff is definitely not motivating us in a positive light in that moment, I'm saying. So
absolutely. So in the pages of my book, I talk about the last ride. And the last ride is where we all are in this hearse, or family car is what they call it, and the hearse is in the front of us, leading the way from the place we had the actual funeral to the gravesite. And then when we get there, we get out of the cars and we sit in these chairs that has this velvet feeling stuff on it, as we watch them pull our loved one body to this metal thing that's in the ground. And they say some words and the ashes and ashes stuff, and we put flowers in this, and then we sit there and we watch as our loved one is being lowered into the ground. So you put yourself in our situation. We went through a traumatic experience roughly 2 weeks ago, depending on how the body has been processed. Sometimes it may take 3 weeks, sometimes 4, sometimes longer. It depends. It all depends on the situation. So we just had a traumatic experience. We are traumatized. We have to now plan to never see our loved one again in this thing we call a funeral. And then we have to watch them be lowered in the ground, which is the last place we will see them for the rest of our lives. And you want to come with cliches. It's lucky there's not been enough fights, because that alone, that trauma that has completely changed and devastated and turned your life upside down, is enough to get you a punch. Seriously. So I just want to encourage those that are watching now and in the future, be mindful of what you say. Just hearing what I just said, what we went through in just those few sentences, but we live that in real life. And now we're trying to live our life after the death of our loved one, grieving in this process, learning how to live without our loved one is what we're not taught. And that's what this panel is here to teach you, is that we can live after that death. But we want you to join us in living with us by not giving us more trauma from your ignorance. That's what this is for us to educate you how to be more sympathetic or empathetic, because we really don't sometimes want your sympathy. Some people we really don't, because I don't want you to feel like I can't do anymore. I want you to empathize with me, showing that you care, that you're there and you care. But don't think that we are going to just die. We want to die because of all of the questions that we don't know how to react to, because we're not used to living life after the death of our loved one. That's what this is all about. That is why we are here talking now, because we want people to understand, 1, you have to be empathetic. 2, you can live life after the death of your loved one. You guys, when we come back, we're going to give our final thought. If there's no more questions that come in before then, we will close this session out. And I really, honest to God, hope that this has helped people. This will heal you guys, and that you can move on and live life after the death of your loved one, even if it's just a memory, because we can smile from just a memory. We'll be back. Living Life After Death, the live panel discussion. that all of my panelists said yes to me. I just wanted the world to know, because the coronavirus came in here and it started just taking our people out like no end. People already not understanding how to deal with grief, because we had just gone through this almost 3 years ago now, with the death of Mackenzie, our 9-year-old baby girl who committed suicide due to bullying. And I knew we had, we needed to talk about it. And I knew there was other people, but coronavirus came in 2020, and so many people in just my hometown alone lost people that I knew personally. And I was like, it's got to be something I can do to help people heal. I wrote about it. What else can help people heal than the pages of the book, Living Life After Death? For the living, not the dead. You guys, I'm going to bring this awesome panel back, guys. I want you guys to reach out to these individuals, because you just need a support person. And definitely that's why I love when Tara tells me yes. It just makes my heart just jump, because I want you to know, if you don't know another therapist, you can always contact her. And if what she can't help you with, she can send you to someone else that can. We got to get help. And it's okay. It's okay to admit that. I needed help. Why do you think I wrote so many books? I ain't had no time. I had to do something to help me. I had to keep talking. I had to keep going. I had to keep pushing every day. Every day. I chose to do it. And I want you guys to do the same. I'm going to bring my panel back, and they're going to give us their final thought for tonight. And if you have any questions by the time we finish with everybody, we will answer those questions. But we want to thank everybody that has been watching. You guys have been diligent and patient, and I hope that it has helped you. And this is not the last one. I'll be back. Y'all know I'm coming back. I'll come back, baby. I'm going to bring my panel up here, because I know they laughing at me, because they know how I get excited and I don't never stop. All right. So we're going to keep it moving. We're going to talk about our final thought. And Sean, we're going to start with you. And thank you so much for working through a whole session, keeping your word. I totally appreciate you for that.
No doubt, man. Again, I really just have to give it back to you for even creating this platform. I'm kind of getting ready to go pick up my crew, but I wanted to say thank you for having me. First of all, I appreciate that, and thank you for having the rest of these young ladies on here, because they definitely gave the insight. I don't know if I was as profound in speaking, but I definitely received something from each of them. So thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me something that they can deposit and use for me. And my final thought is really just, if you love, those special people that we lose in our life, you love them the way you say you do, man. You owe it to them to keep pushing forward. You owe it to yourself to keep pushing forward. We've all kind of gone through the dark parts of life after death. Is really what it is, man. So that's really what I kind of get in my mind. Let me stay focused. Let me stay up. Trouble don't last always. And I've got more good memories, more positive things that I can recall at the drop of a dime about, my grandmother, my best friends, my bike club members, my whatever. I've lost a lot of them. So I'm very thankful to have them. But I have so many good memories that just kind of push me, and that becomes my motivation. So my final thought is, if you have that with the person that you have lost physically, that energy that they present to you, it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go anywhere. Energy is not created nor destroyed. So even though they may be gone physically, they're still with you. So that's my final thought. I'm thankful. I got to get off this live. Love y'all. Everybody listening. Love y'all too. Love y'all with intent. Love you with purpose, on purpose. So, continue to be that for each other. Thank y'all. Hey, Janae, love you. Y'all.
See you soon.
Thank y'all for all y'all words. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.
Now, don't y'all think y'all going nowhere? We got questions. Anywho, Chantal, it's on you, baby. You muted.
Okay, sorry about that. I just want to say to everybody that's watching who have maybe lost a loved one, that your grief reactions are normal, and it is okay to feel however you want to feel. I'm still amazed at it's such a simple statement, but it's very complex. And I'm still amazed at how what it did for me when my best friend told me that, and I was just, having a moment, and she was like, Chantel, that's normal how you feel, and it's okay for you to feel. Nobody can tell you how to feel, because at the end of the day, you lost your husband. Every night that you go to bed, you're going to bed by yourself. So you feel however you want to feel. And that was huge for me to hear that. And it created a safe space for me. It created a space, where I felt comfortable to feel however I wanted to feel. I didn't have to feel bad for maybe expressing myself a certain kind of way. And that really helped me start that grieving process. And then the other thing that has really helped me is that I had to shift my focus. For so long, I was so focused on what I lost in losing my husband. But when I began to look at it from the perspective of, God, I'm so thankful that I was blessed to experience the love that I was able to experience. There are many people, women and men, who may not have had that opportunity to experience the type of love that I was able to experience with my husband for the time that I did. And I'm so thankful for that. And that's what I began to shift my focus, and not necessarily looking at what I lost, but the love that I was privileged to gain and what I had. And then to be able to really enjoy the life that my husband lived. He was an incredible man, and I wanted to be able to celebrate that. And I had to give myself time, because honestly, the first 8 months, there was no celebrating. I was hurt. I was in pain. It was so hard to get on social media and see other people engaged and getting married and all of those milestones. But when I began to shift that focus and look at it different and appreciate the love that I was able to experience, and then to be able to really celebrate my husband for the incredible man that he was and all of the different lives that he touched, brings me so much joy and just appreciation for what I did experience with him.
That's amazing. That is an amazing story. That is amazing. And you are so right. And we are so thankful to have you tonight to share that, because there are women that actually reached out to me when I first posted this, and I was like, and you came out of nowhere, and I was just like, I need you. I need you. I need you right now. Do you know what I'm about to do? I need you. And you have just blessed those ladies. I know that's who I know personally, not who else is watching that has also lost a spouse, but your story. And that's what I tell each and every one of you. Your story is what's going to help someone else. You speaking out, you being, I said the word vulnerable, but it's a strong vulnerability that you are expressing, that's showing people it's okay. It's okay. And you can be the support, just like Jasmine talked about, for somebody else. And when you hear yourself talking to other people, just like I do, when I talk to other people that had a child to commit suicide or attempted to commit suicide, I hear myself talking, and I'm like, girl, you can still cry about that same situation, but now you are helping someone else cry through theirs. And that's what we all are here to do, to help others. The trials and tribulations that we have faced, if we choose to get up out of it, there's so many people that we will bless their lives. And I appreciate you so much for that. Bridget, you're next.
Well, as we were going through, I actually had a friend to send me a picture of the last time that she had seen Brandon. And it melts me. Thank you. But if I can help anybody to grasp their head around any of this, our situation wasn't a normal per se. My brother was a truck driver. My brother passed all the way in California. If anybody has ever dealt with California, it's like a whole different country. And it took us 3 weeks and 3 days to even get him here. And for people that have situations to come up to make it even harder to get through the loss, it's still possible. Like, it's still possible. A lot of people were like, well, you've had time to deal a little bit, but you don't. It hits you the same. At least with me, it hit me the same way every day, because he was asleep, but he was not home. Until he got home, I could not rest. Twice a day I was calling California and everything else. And what I want you guys to understand is that regardless of the situation of how it happens, two things are always certain: change and death. And the way we get through those is what makes the difference. What keeps us standing, what keeps us focused, is what we have around us. Choose good people. Quantity is not always the best. I tell my girls all the time, quality over quantity. And it's okay for you to break up with the world to get through this. It is okay. You can come back, because those who understand and those who matter, when you come back, they're going to be there just like they told you when it first happened. And a lot of those, when everybody is gone home and everybody is back to their normal, those will be the ones that call and check on you, ask you, have you eaten, or what you do yesterday, you know? So just know that it's possible. It's possible to heal. Will you forget? No. I don't ever want to forget him. I don't ever want to forget his voice. I don't ever want to forget anything about him, because we a lot of people even thought we were twins for a while, and especially going through school. And I never want him to leave my thoughts and everything else. But it's possible to heal. Just keep your eyes on the healing. Don't everybody else tunnel vision. You'll get it when you need it. Just focus on your healing, however you need to do it. No way is wrong, I don't think.
Absolutely. I thought y'all were twins.
A lot of people did.
And you, Bridget, Brandon, I mean, kind of work. But yes, he was a hoot. I knew Brandon, he stayed out in one of my complexes, and I met him, and I was like, what? I just saw him being silly on the truck, so I totally, yes, everybody is different, and you have done a great job keeping his memory. I saw where you went out and traveled to see people that he knew and that knew him, and when they saw you, you helped heal them, because you do remind us of him, and so he lives through you. And when they saw you, I'm sure they embraced you. I don't know, I wasn't there, but I just saw the pictures, and I can only imagine. This is my imagination, right? Okay. So they loved you because you are who's left for the love that they had for him. So I thank you for agreeing to come and talk with us tonight and heal the people that are listening, because they are saying it. And I thank you so much. And it's going to keep going from here for us and for all of those that are watching. Shantae?
If I can offer my thoughts, know that you are worth the healing. You are worth the place when you get to the other side. It's going to be easy to wallow those days and stay in bed. It's going to be easy to be upset with the world. It's going to be easy to be bitter. It's going to be easy to be depressed and be on that other side. But I know for me, that's the complete opposite of me. That's why I fought so hard to get to the other side. But I know for some people, that may be something you deal with on a regular basis. Do what you need to do to get to the other side of this space. Okay, it's not going to always be like this. If you choose that space, sometimes you have to choose it, because
if you let it, life will do this to you. I mean, shut you right down. But I admonish you, I encourage you to pick up and get to the other side of your healing. You are so worth it. God has so much more for you. And I know that person that you lost wouldn't dare let you be in that space. If my sister ever saw me laying in the bed, she busting in on me asking what's going on. She taking me out and doing whatever I need to do to get get up to spirits. And one of the beautiful things that happened, she knew my fiance before she passed. She wasn't happy when we first started dating because it started taking some of our time. But unbeknownst to me, they were talking and talking about whether it be life in general. Because some reason my friends became my sister's friends. Always. And so it's been life in general. And I could tell she was starting to grow on him and him being in my life. But to know that he talked about spending the rest of his life with me to her, and that she approved, that makes this time, even though she's not here with me, it still makes this time so much special. All right, so if I can leave those words, please know that you are worth to heal.
Absolutely. Thank you, Shantae. Thank you for agreeing. I know this was your first time talking about this in public like this. Davida just gave you some hearts. Yes, we all became like all sisters. I met Shantae first, and then I met Keita, and then we didn't lose Keita ever. And then Keita met my sister Jasmine, I think, and then there it is. And then Davida was with me, and it just was like that. And so I'm just proud of you for talking to the people, because they need it. And I know you needed it too. And we all needed it. We all need each other. And that's what this has been for, to get the people to healing. All right, we're gonna keep on to Jasmine. Your turn.
My final words of encouragement, I was just reading the comments, and a family member of ours commented on when I, spoke about me, thinking about committing suicide, and she told me thank you. She needed that, because she not too long just lost one of her sons, and she's hurting from one mother to another. Yes. I know you hurt. Yes. And it's time. It's gonna heal it slightly, but it's always gonna be things that have you to think about them, or you will see somebody else doing something that was slightly like something that they would do, and it would it'll get you emotional or whatever, but don't let it be tears of sorrow that you shed. Let it be tears of joy, because you can see that individual in someone else. I promise you, it's day-to-day things that I see that reminds me of Kenzie every day. And then, of course, I have a big picture of her on my wall. So I walk in the house and bam, there she is. So I can't help but not to see her. And I'm going to make sure her name lives on, because that was my firstborn. That's who made me a mother. Little old immature me made me a mother. Don't do that. But anything that I can say encouraging is, don't wallow in self-pity. I'm gonna say it like that. Take what happened and try to turn it into something positive daily, because if you don't, you'll find yourself going down a road that some people can stop themselves before they get to that end like I did, well, it wasn't me. It was all God. He stopped me before I got to that end. But, you know, just you're gonna have to pray on it, because losing people, losing a family member is hard altogether. It's gonna take a toll on you. But at the end of the day, you have to, because I have a very strong support system, as y'all can see. There's there's been times I post something on Facebook, like I said earlier, Shantae would tell me, you know, it's okay. Whatever you have to do that. Because for a few months, I had bottled up a lot of everything. And it kind of got me to a breaking point. But I was able to bring myself up out of it and talk myself out of it. So I would start, you know, going around family members. And a lot of times going around people that know the situation, they're not going to talk about it, but they're going to give you a type of love that you couldn't even imagine, that it helps to heal you. It literally heals you. So if I could say anything, I love you too, B. Bianca comment, my little sister comment just popped up. But our little sister. But just remember, my mama always told us this too shall pass. And all the bad that goes on, there's always going to be some good that come out of it. So always remember, this too shall pass, and always pray.
All right. Good job, little sister. That's the middle one. Bianca, the baby one. Tara, the oldest one. Then I'm under Tara. And Tara, it's your turn.
You guys know it. For life.
James is in the building. Okay. Gotta wrap this up. Pull the cord. I'm just playing.
Well, what I want to say is this is very important for everyone with this, is to release the need to feel guilty and know that you deserve to smile in front of the pain, not behind it. Because I feel a lot will train also too to kind of suck it up. And when people are around, like, don't break down and don't do this and don't do that. But we have to allow ourselves to show people, because this is how we help other people, that we can smile in front of that death, not behind it, not hiding. And we don't have to feel guilty that we are moving on and that we went to a barbecue and maybe laughed. Maybe we had a glass of wine in our yard, because I think that, you know, people, didn't they just lose somebody 2 months ago? Please don't do that, because even though we are smiling in front of our pain, you know, behind closed doors is where it really hits. And so I just think, you know, just allow yourself to seriously let go of that guilt. That guilt will eat you alive, you know, on top of the death. So learn how to say, you know what, I can laugh, because they would want me to laugh. I used to laugh with them. You know, I used to watch them laugh. So why can't I laugh? I deserve to laugh. Tell yourself that, because there's going to be times where you feel like, okay, you know, you're looking at other people doing different things and you just want to be involved, but then you look and say, oh, well, I shouldn't laugh at that, or I shouldn't, you know, clap when I see a baby born, or yes, you should. Yes, you should. Yes, you should. And another important thing, and Jasmine hit it on the head, is when you're in those emotions, to try to dig deep and find the positive in it. I always say the longer you stay in the memory bank, the more you feel bankrupt, the more you feel empty. No, we don't want to forget them. We don't have to forget them. Like Jasmine said, she walked home to her baby, she opened up the door, baby's on the wall. Hi. But the longer we muster in those, like, oh, she should be here, or oh, he should be here, and oh, the more you will feel bankrupt. Don't, once again, that's attached to guilt, that we constantly have to ponder on those memories over and over and over, because we feel like if I stop thinking about them, then I'm just going to forget them. And that's not right. And that's fair. Not true. That's the enemy lying, for real. It is. And I have a game that I play with myself. This helps other people, and I, do with clients as well, as to time your tears. Not saying be robotic with it. If you have been in that place for a very long time, for days or a few minutes, when you start triggering your brain to time those tears, cover them with laughter. That's the second part of it. I would say, okay, I'm in the photo album. Okay, I'm feeling bankrupt. I'm sitting here. This was 20 years ago. I'm just missing her today. You could do that. We're all entitled to do it. But if I carry that on hours and hours, the only person, honestly, that's going to harm is you, your mental state. And fortunately, we do have other children and people around us. We're actually taking ourselves away from the living people that also want us to still live around them and be with them and be present for them. So I would just say to learn how to gauge it. It's not, once again, when you get rid of the guilt, you'll know. I can laugh, I can cry, and then I can just think of something funny. That's what I do with my mom. If I get in that place, which I a lot of the times, I just think about something funny. She was just like a high energy spirit all the time. So I just think about she used to yell at us, and that makes me laugh. And when I got in trouble or things like that. So, and just lastly, obviously we're believers here, and we will all say, believe this. Not if you're not one. If you are, please get to know God deeper, because he's the supernatural spirit that will bring you out of something that you just can't even imagine, because death you can't imagine. And I say this even, doing this, it still is something that you can't say, I know how you feel. You're going to be okay. No, you're not. No, you're not. You will eventually. But I'm saying there's moments where you feel like you don't even know who you are anymore. You don't even know how you show up in life, or if you want to show up in life like Jasmine. I love that, and I commend that, Jasmine, because that's not easy to let people know that feeling. It's not. We got to hide strong, but God will bring you out of stuff that you just like, how in the world? I said that. I'm a mother. How is my sister over there, Jasmine, without her baby? Oh my God. I'm a mom. How am I without my baby? How all the moms that I really work with from my heart and without their children? I won't say I could never imagine it. I just say, Lord, it's only you. It's only you that has them breathing right now, because I already know I would be under somewhere. You know what I mean? But I'm not. I'm right here because he is right with us. Like he says, he will never leave us. And just celebrate. Lastly, celebrate where you are in your process and make it fun. Even when it's not like, okay, girl, you done been a basket case for 2 days. Now it's time to be silly. Or James. Hi. Now it's time to shift out of that, because it will teach you and train you that there is life after death. And if there wasn't, then we wouldn't be alive and breathing. So that's how I want to end that. And thank you guys for sharing, because sharing, talking, it is healthy. And even if we get off here today and we go and cry after we turn off this camera, we know that for this time, though, that we really did bond in our feelings and share. And so that helps people over and over again to talk, get it out. So that's my final thoughts.
Absolutely. You guys have done so awesome. I can't be more proud. I feel like a proud mommy over here, like my girls and my guy that's at work and stuff. You guys have, I think all of us almost shed a tear of our own story. That lets us know we are healing, because we didn't just completely break down and we couldn't complete the assignment at hand. And the assignment for us tonight was to help and heal and start healing process for those that are watching. We have had the highest numbers all night that I've ever had for any panel, because there is so many people that are healed, that are hurting from the death of a loved one, and they don't know how to heal. They don't even know where to begin. And tonight, every one of you ladies and gentlemen has helped them start. That was the whole point. You have to start. You have to choose to start. And they made a decision to watch us an hour, almost 2 hours, and we weren't even supposed to be on but for one. But it was too good to just brush it and to get over it, because this is real. We are living with this. We are trying to live after the death of a loved one, which is the title of my last 2 books that did the most healing for me, because I wrote about what we as a family go through, planning a funeral, just had a trauma, putting our person in the ground, and now trying to live without them. We have lived our whole time with them. Now we got to learn to live without them. I had a hard time. I may not look like I did, but when I walk in the store, all I see is little girls, and I still worked for the school system for a period of time or whatever. And every little girl was Mackenzie. So, I bought stuff for them. I was just like, I can't do this. I'm going to go broke. But those were my healing moments, was to just keep moving, give to people as I would give to Mackenzie. I held a Christmas tree up in my house for a year with her gifts under it because I couldn't let it go. I honestly, let me say this publicly, I have not been back to Mackenzie's gravesite since we put her in the ground December 15, 2018. I haven't been back. I've been by there, like the gates on Highway 80, and I plan to turn in there, but every time I just keep going. So I'm still healing, y'all. It's not complete. I don't smile because I'm over it. I hadn't been able to go back to see her. Jasmine's been, my mama's been, James even got a picture there. My baby niece, my mom, my baby sister, they've all been. I talk about it all the time. I do presentations. I have a button. I give it away. But I hadn't even been back to her gravesite. So that means I still have healing to do, just as everybody else. And I needed this. You needed this. We all need this. And my final thought is that I thank you ladies again. I thank Sean. I thank you all for watching. And healing cannot happen until you start the process. And you started by watching us tonight. You started by saying, I'm going to see what these little crazy folks over here talking about. And I hope you leave with, I'm ready to start talking to somebody. I'm ready to go to therapy. I'm ready to call one of these ladies, Shantae, Chantal, Jasmine, Bridget, and Tara, which is a therapist. Even Janae, Edwina, y'all know my real name. Reach out to us all. Sean, reach out to us. We will help you. We all going through it together. That's the whole point. The family, we are all going through this together to help us continue living life after death. You guys, I thank you so much. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. We will do this again. And you guys have a great night. Ladies, goodbye. Everybody watching, thank you so much. Good night.
Bye.